In this video, we're going to take a look at the text mode setting in Broker Brain and show how to configure it and what capabilities it gives you in the system. If you go under Admin, Site Settings within your site, partway down the screen under your time zone option, you'll see that there's a text mode setting, and the two options under text mode are plain text and HTML. The default setting for this is plain text, and what this controls is when you're in a notes or email dialog in Broker Brain, it controls whether or not you're going to see plain text or whether you see a rich text or HTML formatting window for entering your text, where you can add bolding, font changes, colors, and that type of thing. So if you're not concerned about styling the text in your notes or the emails that you send out of the system, then leaving this in plain text is perfectly fine. If you would like to turn on the rich text features, then you would want to set this to HTML. And we'll go ahead and show you the differences between the plain text and HTML. Right now, I've got the system set to plain text mode, so when I go to a property and to the notes section, when I click New Note, you'll see a dialog comes up with just a plain text box, and as I enter text here, you'll see that I don't have any formatting capabilities for it other than just basic entering the text and spacing. Now if I go back to my admin site settings, change this to HTML, and we'll go ahead and go down and submit this change. Now when I go back to the new notes section, or to the property notes section, when I click New Note, you'll see that we have a different dialog for entering the note, and it allows us to style our text, and you can bold things, you can color the background of things, you can color text. So it just gives you a little bit more control over styling and drawing attention to different aspects of the notes and emails. And now this will apply to notes when you create them. It will apply to your ability to edit the notes when you go into an Edit Note dialog. So let me go ahead and pop up the Edit Note dialog. Now that we're in HTML mode, you'll see that our editor gives us our rich text formatting capabilities. And it also deals with emails. When I pop up an email dialog now that I have set this to HTML, you'll see that we have a rich text message dialog so that we can style the text that we send out as an email within the system. Now once we have enabled the HTML capability, I'm going to go ahead and refresh our property notes page right now, and you'll see in the upper right hand corner over here that we have a new option that says View Notes As. Now even though we have the system-wide set to work in HTML, in terms of viewing the notes, if you get tired of seeing all the styled text and you just want to see plain text for your notes, you can toggle the viewing of this on and off. But what you send out for an email will always go out based on what the system-wide setting is, either plain text or HTML. So for example, right now, we're going to go ahead and edit this note for John, and we're going to bold, underline, and set a font for this, and we're going to make it nice and big, and resubmit this as a note revision. And you'll see that now in the note itself we actually see the same styled text in the note display down there. Now if we decide that even though it's an HTML note in the system and it would be emailed out of the system as HTML, if we want to view it as plain text just in our screen right here, I can switch this back to a plain text view and it will show us the note as plain text. But by going back to HTML, because it did contain HTML in the original note, we would see it styled as such. The other place you have the ability to change this particular preference in terms of how notes are viewed is if you go to the My Account tab. You'll see down below that we have in our interface options, we have a View Notes As setting. And when I refresh this page, now that we've switched to HTML, you will see that I have the choice system-wide to view my notes as HTML or plain text. Now this is going to be just a preference for me. This doesn't affect any other user in the system. It's just on a user-by-user basis. If the system is set to HTML, if they want to see all their notes as plain text, each individual user has that capability. And you'll also notice that once we switch the system to an HTML mode, our email signature also has the ability to be styled using the different styling features for the rich text dialog. One important note regarding setting your system to an HTML text mode is that when you copy and paste text from other programs such as Internet Explorer, Firefox, Microsoft Word, or other email programs, the formatting should stay intact from what you saw in the other programs as what you will see in Broker Brain. However, different programs format their text using different techniques, and we've tried to anticipate the different formattings that will come in, and for the most part you'll find that the text copied from other programs that is rich text will look correct in Broker Brain. However, it's not completely uncommon to have some discrepancies in the formatting from the original text that was copied versus what was pasted into Broker Brain. You can either manually adjust the formatting once you paste it into Broker Brain if that happens, and if it's just bothersome and formatting is not a big deal, then I would suggest just setting your system to a plain text mode. But it's not completely unlikely that occasionally you'll run across pasted text from other sources, especially Microsoft Word, where the formatting might adjust just a little bit once it gets into Broker Brain.